Welcome to I'm Your Target Demographic. I'm Adam Ryan Daniels, and today I am talking about X-Men video games and how it's been a long time since there's been one that has been decent, and what would make an amazing X-Men video game if all the stars aligned. In terms of the history of X-Men video games, it's been very hit or miss. Some good examples. I remember playing kind of X-Men back on Sega Genesis. That was really fun. Then X-Men Legends 1 and 2, which is kind of followed by Marvel kind of Ultimate Alliance, which is really fun. And then maybe the Wolverine Origins video game was actually way better than the movie was. Those are the ones that I remember kind of being decent, but none of them have been incredible. And it's such a cool world that is just, it's a missed opportunity. So I was playing Infamous Second Son recently, and I realized that it's kind of the perfect template for creating an X-Men video game. So I'm going to outline what Sucker Punch has created and what could be kind of stolen from and ideas, and also some other games that have elements that could contribute to an amazing X-Men video game. So imagine a big open world, like New York City, something like that, similar to how the Infamous games have been, right? So it's kind of big, open, lots of little side quests, necessary quests, things for you to do, and fun ways to travel around that world. So we're going to take that, but instead of one hero, we're going to have a cast of characters. So kind of different X-Men that you could rotate through, similar to how kind of in GTA 5, Grand Theft Auto 5, you can kind of rotate between the heroes, but in GTA 5, you go to wherever that character is. Where in this game, you would probably just swap on the spot who your character would be, right? Because that'd be kind of annoying to, I want to change characters and now I'm somewhere else. So you'd have a cast of characters you can rotate through, and you would go about all these missions in a big, open, living world. In terms of the story, it'd be cool to see something morally complex, like Infamous has been so good at, that you're allowed to make good or bad decisions. And with X-Men, we have kind of a built-in mechanism for that. So imagine if the X-Men and then kind of the villains, the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, had to work together to stop maybe a bigger threat, so maybe Apocalypse, something like that. And there are quests that might further the X-Men's agenda, or quests that maybe further the Brotherhood's agenda, which maybe lead to different outcomes in the end. So this would give you a variety of quests, and maybe if you do one, it locks out the other, right? So kind of the world state is changing. Now we get into the good stuff. Based on the powers that we've seen in Infamous and some other games, what are some heroes that we can incorporate in this cast of characters? There's some easy ones that are all melee focused, right? So we've got like Wolverine, super easy, been in plenty of video games already, run through the world, hack and slash, right? We have other heroes that are kind of up close fighters like Beast, and his agility might give him some unique ways to travel kind of up the buildings and do some parkour kind of stuff, might make traveling a little more interesting. And then we've got characters like Psylocke, who has energy swords, which in the recent Infamous we kind of got an example of. And so it'd be interesting to see her kind of fight people that way. She also has telepathic attacks, which could be like a ranged thing, which could add some visual variety. In Second Son First Light, we see a new power kind of demonstrated, which is where you can take over enemies and have them fight each other, which would give heroes like Jean Grey or other telepathic heroes a unique way to fight, that maybe you handle a situation by having them fight each other instead of you taking it head on. So this would give you kind of multiple ways to address a situation. So having these multiple ways to handle a situation would force you to use different characters and learn to master them, and the game could incorporate achievements and trophies and challenges that cater to each hero. So if you want to get them all, you have to learn how to use each one effectively. So playing the game might be very different when you're Jean versus when you're Beast. Storm is another hero that would be fairly easy to incorporate, since lightning has been kind of the focus of the first two Infamous games. So a lot of range stuff, but the coolest thing about Storm would probably be when she unleashes the full kind of big storm, which would resemble kind of the big finishers in Infamous. That would just be amazing to clear out a whole room of people with a big thunderstorm. It would look awesome. And Storm flies, which could take use of some of these Mechanisms like in the concrete ability in Infamous 2 where they kind of float throughout the city. She could do that kind of in a little whirlwind. A lot of characters that fly could use that mechanism. So Jean Grey, Storm, things like that. And now from another game, I'm going to draw an ability. In Dragon Age Inquisition, they have a really cool system for using ice magic, which would naturally be an amazing fit for Iceman. So being able to create walls of ice, there's projectiles, things like that. But in Infamous, there's not really a way to change the battlefield. So this would be a cool addition that you set up a wall and they're not allowed to walk through there. Or you section people off. That would be a cool addition that isn't coming from the Infamous universe, but Dragon Age did really well. Also, there's kind of ice armor, things like that could buff up Iceman. Natural fit. Iceman also has some really cool ways to travel the map, so creating kind of ice bridges kind of across, that'd be really cool and visually stunning. Another hero that would be based on traversing the map would be Angel. And in Second Son, we had some kind of flight abilities, and it'd be cool to see those with real wings and being able to fly kind of a further distance. And we could do kind of cool challenges, kind of, flying around the map. It would give you something interesting to do as Angel that no other hero could do. In Second Son, there's also, when you have the smoke ability, there's a way to kind of phase out and phase in somewhere else, which does resemble teleporting, so it's not a stretch that a character like Nightcrawler could easily be incorporated into this and have abilities that could move him around the map, as long as they figured out a way to make it interesting and fun and yet not overpowered. But earlier, I said that there might be a dynamic where you kind of control the Brotherhood and do some Brotherhood missions to kind of make things a little worse. So obviously we have Pyro, we have in Dragon Age Inquisition those fire abilities that are complementary to the Iceman abilities. So you could have Pyro kind of creating walls of fire and meteors and stuff like that, and doing the big final attack. In Infamous is very similar to something where Pyro might unleash all that power. You've got Avalanche, who could maybe throw rocks and do stuff like that. You've got Juggernaut, maybe charging throughout, kind of similar to the concrete ability, charging down the street, taking out vehicles. That would be super fun, kind of unstoppable. Quicksilver would be a natural pick. Kind of the neon abilities are perfect. So Quicksilver could have speed challenges, kind of similar to how Angel has flying challenges. So you're trying to do those, boost up Quicksilver's abilities, maybe focus on melee, so getting into battle and then doing combinations, taking out people. That would be super fun. And then you'd probably have Magneto, and some really cool abilities with him. So already there's the mechanisms for flying around, kind of hovering. And then there are abilities in both Infamous and Dragon Age where you kind of draw things together, and then maybe destroy them. So there would be potential for some really cool Magneto moments where he pulls all the cars together and then throws them, stuff like that would be really fun. So now imagine if you had this huge cast of characters and you could rotate through and choose how you wanted to handle situations. You're about to take on a base full of enemies. I'm going to do it as Nightcrawler. Or, okay, I think I want to be Gambit. Throw cards, have the bow. There's lots of potential for a lot of heroes and fun ways to travel around the map and take out different scenarios. I'd also like to see something similar to Skyhold in Dragon Age Inquisition. Having a base, maybe the Xavier Institute, something you could upgrade, change, walk around, have conversations, and maybe throughout those conversations it unlocks new missions that show up kind of out in the open world. It'd be cool to have that base and get some more story between characters and not just the action. So in the end, we'd have a big open world, lots of your favorite characters, a complex story with multiple endings depending on what you choose to do, fun ways to travel around the map, and a customizable home base where you get some really deep character moments. That's what I want from an X-Men game. So now you tell me, what are some characters that you'd really want to see? What are some other video games that maybe have mechanics that might mimic something in the X-Men world that you're thinking, they've already did it in this game, they can just move it over and that would work perfectly for this character? Are there other X-Men games that did it right that you think, that was an incredible X-Men game, they should just copy that? Would you play something like this? What else would you want to see? Let me know. Make sure that you head over. I have a brand new Facebook page at facebook.com/IAYTD. You can head to my full website at imyourtargetdemographic.com and make sure you subscribe, like, check out my other videos. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you for everything. See you next time.